Dr. Sarah Chen yawned as she stared at the computer screen. It was 3 a.m., and the huge radio telescope in China's Guizhou province had been quiet all night. She reached for her coffee mug, only to find it empty. Just as she was about to call it a night, a sharp beep from her console made her jump. "What the?" she muttered, her eyes widening as she looked at the incoming data. The signal was unlike anything she had ever seen before. It was strong, clear, and definitely not natural. Sarah's heart began to race as she realized what this could mean. She grabbed her phone and dialed her boss. "Dr. Lai Wei." "Dr. Lai, you need to see this now," she said, her voice shaking with excitement. Across the world, in the green hills of West Virginia, the giant dish of the Green Bank telescope also picked up the strange signal. Dr. Tom Jackson, a veteran astronomer with salt and pepper hair, almost spilled his midnight snack when he saw the readings. "Holy cow," he whispered, his sandwich forgotten. He quickly sent an alert to his colleagues at SETI. Within hours, astronomers around the world were buzzing with excitement. The signal was being received by every major radio telescope on Earth. It was strong, it was clear, and it was definitely coming from deep space. As dawn broke over New York City, the United Nations building was already a hive of activity. Security guards looked confused as scientists and government officials rushed in, many still in their pajamas or hastily thrown on suits. Inside the main conference room, UN Secretary-General Amina Okonkwo looked at the faces around her. There were representatives from NASA, Roscosmos, the European Space Agency, and China's space program. All wore expressions of both excitement and fear. "Ladies and gentlemen," Amina said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation, "we have called this emergency meeting because, as you all know by now, we have received a signal from space. Dr. Chen, please brief us on what we know so far." Sarah Chen stood up, her hands shaking slightly as she connected her laptop to the room's main screen. "The signal we received is artificial in nature," she began. "It's too structured to be anything natural. We believe it's a message, and we've been working non-stop to decode it." She pressed a button, and a series of strange symbols appeared on the screen. "This is the message. At first, we thought it might be some kind of mathematical sequence, but then we realized it was actually a language. A completely alien language." The room erupted in murmurs. Amina raised her hand for silence. "Dr. Chen, are you saying you've managed to translate an alien language in just a few hours?" Sarah nodded. "The message came with a kind of key, like they wanted us to understand it. Once we figured that out, the translation was relatively straightforward." "And what does it say?" asked the Russian representative, leaning forward in his seat. Sarah took a deep breath. "It says, 'Greetings, beings of the third planet. Your world has been chosen for incorporation into the Galactic Empire. Prepare for our arrival. Resistance is futile.'" The room fell silent. Then, as if a dam had broken, everyone started talking at once. Amina had to shout to be heard over the din. "Quiet, quiet." She turned to Sarah. "Dr. Chen, is there any doubt about this translation?" Sarah shook her head. "We've checked and double-checked. Multiple teams have worked on it independently. This is what it says." The U.S. representative, a stern-faced woman in a crisp suit, spoke up. "How long do we have? When are they coming?" Sarah clicked to the next slide. It showed a diagram of the solar system, with a series of dots moving towards Earth. "Based on the information in the message, we estimate their fleet will reach Earth in approximately 6 months." The room erupted again. This time, Amina didn't try to quiet them. She sat back in her chair, her mind racing. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer, and it was more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. As the arguments and panicked discussions swirled around her, Amina made a decision. She stood up, and gradually, the room fell silent. "Ladies and gentlemen, she said, her voice firm and clear. We faced the greatest threat in human history, but we will not panic. We will not surrender. From this moment on, every nation, every person on this planet must work together. We have 6 months to prepare our defense, and when these invaders arrive, we will show them that humanity is not to be underestimated. She looked around the room, meeting each person's eyes. The news of the alien threat spread across the globe like wildfire. At first, there was panic. People rushed to stores, emptying shelves of food and supplies. But as the initial shock wore off, something unexpected happened. Instead of falling apart, humanity began to come together. In a small workshop in Tokyo, Hiroshi Tanaka, a robotics engineer, worked tirelessly on a new design. His eyes were red from lack of sleep, but he couldn't stop. Not when the fate of the world was at stake. "Keiko, hand me that screwdriver," he said to his daughter, who had refused to leave his side since the news broke. Keiko passed him the tool. "Dad, do you really think this will help against alien spaceships?" Hiroshi paused and looked at his daughter. "Every little bit helps, sweetheart. We all have to do our part." Across the ocean, in a top-secret facility beneath the Nevada desert, Dr. Emily Rodriguez led a team of the world's brightest minds. They had been brought together for one purpose: to develop a weapon capable of defending Earth. "The aliens will likely have energy shields," Emily explained, pointing to a holographic display. "Our conventional weapons would be useless, but if we can create a gravitational distortion field." Her words were interrupted by a loud boom. On the testing range, a small prototype had just successfully warped the space around it, crushing a tank as if it were made of paper. The team cheered, but Emily remained focused. "It's a start," she said, "but we need to make it bigger. Much bigger." Meanwhile, in the halls of power, world leaders set aside their differences for the first time in history. In an unprecedented move, the United Nations Security Council voted unanimously to create a global defense force. General Chiang Lai of China was chosen to lead this new army. As he addressed the troops, his voice carried across airwaves to every corner of the planet. "We are no longer Chinese, American, Russian, or Nigerian," he declared. "From this day forward, we are all Earthlings, and we will defend our home." His words were met with thunderous applause. In streets and homes around the world, people listened and felt a surge of hope. But not everyone was focused on military preparations. In the lush rainforests of Brazil, Dr. Maria Santos worked with a team of linguists and anthropologists. Their mission: to understand the alien culture and find a way to communicate. "We can't just assume they're like us," Maria explained to a group of eager volunteers. "Their entire way of thinking might be different. We need to be prepared for anything." As the months passed, Earth transformed. Old enemies became allies. Resources were shared freely. Every factory, every laboratory, every mind was bent towards a single goal: survival. In orbit, a fleet of hastily constructed satellites took shape. They were a last line of defense, designed to detect and potentially intercept incoming alien ships. On the ground, cities built massive shelters. Farmers worked around the clock to stockpile food. And in schools, children learned new lessons: what to do in case of an alien attack. But perhaps the most remarkable change was in the spirit of the people. Where there had once been division and conflict, now there was unity and purpose. Neighbors helped neighbors. Strangers became friends. The threat from the stars had brought out the best in humanity. As the 6-month mark approached, tension grew. The world held its breath, waiting for the alien fleet to appear. In the UN Command Center, now moved to a secure bunker, leaders gathered to hear the latest update. Dr. Sarah Chen, who had first detected the alien signal, stood before them. Her face was grim but determined. "Our long-range sensors have detected something," she announced. "A large group of objects, moving at incredible speed. They've just entered our solar system." The room fell silent. General Lai stepped forward. "How long until they reach Earth?" Sarah took a deep breath. At their current speed, 3 days. The weight of her words settled over the room. 3 days. Just 3 days until humanity would face its greatest test. But as the leaders looked at each other, there was no fear in their eyes, only resolve. They had prepared as best they could. Now, it was time to show the galaxy what humans were made of. In every home, on every street, people hugged their loved ones and looked to the sky. The message was the same everywhere. Bring it on. The world held its breath as the countdown reached 0. In homes, shelters, and command centers across the globe, all eyes were fixed on screens and sky. At exactly 3:27 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, it happened. The alien fleet appeared in Earth's orbit. At first, they were just pinpricks of light, barely visible against the blue sky. But as they drew closer, their true size became apparent. Each ship was massive, easily dwarfing the largest human spacecraft. In the UN command bunker, General Xiang Lai watched the incoming fleet with a mix of awe and determination. "How many?" he asked, his voice steady. Dr. Sarah Chen, her eyes glued to her monitors, replied, "We're counting over 100 large vessels, sir, and thousands of smaller craft." A hush fell over the room. The alien armada was even larger than they had feared. Suddenly, every screen in the bunker flickered. A face appeared, if you could call it that. The alien was humanoid, but with pale blue skin and large, entirely black eyes. When it spoke, its mouth didn't move. Instead, the words seemed to appear directly in everyone's minds. "People of Earth," the alien said, its mental voice oddly melodious. "I am Admiral Zaxar of the Galactic Empire. Your planet has been chosen for incorporation into our realm. Surrender now, and you will be treated fairly as subjects of the Empire. Resist, and you will be destroyed." General Lai stepped forward, his face set in grim determination. "This is General Xiang Lai of Earth's United Defense Force. We have received your message, Admiral Zaxar. And our answer is this: we will not surrender. Earth is our home, and we will defend it with everything we have." The alien's large eyes blinked slowly. "You misunderstand, General. This is not a negotiation. It is merely a courtesy. Your species is primitive. Your technology is centuries behind ours. You cannot hope to resist." "Perhaps," General Lai replied, a small smile playing on his lips. "But you might find we're full of surprises." With that, he gave a nod to Dr. Emily Rodriguez, who had been waiting tensely by a control panel. She pressed a button, and across the Earth, hidden installations hummed to life. In space, the alien fleet suddenly found itself enveloped in shimmering fields of energy. Their ships began to drift, as if caught in an invisible current. Admiral Zaxar's eyes widened in shock. "What is this? What are you doing?" Dr. Rodriguez stepped into view of the alien transmission. "It's a gravitational distortion field, Admiral. Something we whipped up in the last 6 months. It's playing havoc with your ship's navigation systems, isn't it?" For the first time, the alien looked uncertain. This is impossible. Your species doesn't have this level of technology." Like the general said, Emily replied with a grin, "We're full of surprises." But the aliens weren't defeated yet. As their larger ships struggled against the gravitational fields, swarms of smaller craft broke free, heading towards Earth's atmosphere. "Incoming fighters," Sarah shouted. "They're targeting our major cities." General Li's voice rang out, calm and clear. "Activate planetary defense grid. All countries, you are cleared to engage." Around the world, hidden missile launchers emerged from mountains, deserts, and oceans. Satellites in orbit repositioned themselves, revealing concealed weapon systems. And from air bases on every continent, squadrons of fighters took to the sky. The battle for Earth had begun. In New York, people watched in awe as energy beams lanced up from the Statue of Liberty, swatting alien fighters from the sky. In Moscow, tanks that could hover and fly engaged in dogfights with the invaders over Red Square. And in the skies above Tokyo, Hiroshi Tanaka's robotic drones danced between buildings, outmaneuvering the alien craft with impossible agility. Back in the command bunker, General Lai watched the unfolding battle with intense focus. "We've surprised them," he said, "but this is just the beginning. They'll regroup and come at us with everything they've got." Dr. Chen nodded grimly. The real test is still to come. As if on cue, the alien transmission crackled back to life. Admiral Zaxar's face appeared, no longer calm and superior, but twisted with rage. "You primitive vermin," he snarled. "You dare to challenge the might of the Galactic Empire. We will turn your cities to ash, your oceans to steam. We will." General Lai cut the transmission with a wave of his hand. He turned to face his team, his eyes blazing with determination. "They're angry now," he said. "Good. Angry enemies make mistakes. We've shown them we're not easy prey. Now let's show them what happens when you threaten our home." Around the world, humanity steeled itself for the fight of its life. The opening skirmish was over. The true battle was about to begin. The sky burned. Streaks of light crisscrossed the atmosphere as human and alien ships clashed in a deadly dance. On the ground, people huddled in shelters, feeling the earth shake with each distant explosion. In the UN command bunker, General Chang Lai watched the battle unfold on a massive holographic display. Red dots representing alien ships swarmed around the blue sphere of Earth. Green dots, showing human defenses, fought back fiercely. "Status report," Lai barked, his eyes never leaving the display. Dr. Sarah Chen's fingers flew over her keyboard. "Our gravitational fields are holding, sir. The alien capital ships are still immobilized in high orbit, but their fighters are wreaking havoc in our atmosphere." As if to emphasize her point, an alarm blared. A section of the holographic Earth turned angry red. "They've broken through in South America," someone shouted. "Rio de Janeiro is under direct attack." Lai's jaw clenched. "Divert the Brazilian Air Force to Rio, and get me a visual." The main screen flickered to life, showing a live feed from Rio. The iconic Christ the Redeemer statue stood defiant on its mountaintop, while alien fighters swarmed around it. Suddenly, a squadron of human jets screamed past, engaging the invaders in a furious dogfight. "Look!" Dr. Emily Rodriguez pointed excitedly. "Our planes are outmaneuvering them." It was true. The human pilots, though vastly outnumbered, were flying circles around the alien craft. Years of combat experience were proving invaluable against an enemy unused to atmospheric combat. Similar scenes were playing out across the globe. In the skies over London, New York, and Tokyo, human ingenuity and determination were holding the line against superior alien technology. But the aliens were learning fast. As their initial surprise faded, they began to adapt their tactics. Their attacks became more coordinated, more ruthless. "General," Sarah's voice was tense. "The aliens are targeting our power grids. They're trying to knock out our defenses." Lai nodded grimly. "They're getting desperate." "Good. Activate Plan Theta." Around the world, hidden installations hummed to life. In the depths of the oceans, in the heart of mountains, and even in the frozen wastes of Antarctica, massive generators powered up. Earth's backup power grid, built in secret over the past 6 months, came online just as the main grids began to fail. In space, Admiral Zaxar watched in growing frustration as his forces failed to gain a decisive advantage. "Impossible," he muttered. "How are they still fighting?" He turned to his second-in-command. "Prepare the Worldbreaker. If we can't conquer this planet, we'll destroy it." Back on Earth, alarms blared in the command center. "General." Sarah's voice was filled with panic. "We're detecting a massive energy buildup in the alien flagship." Lai's eyes widened. "They're going to fire their main weapon. How long do we have?" 5 minutes, maybe less," Sarah replied. The room fell silent. This was the moment they had feared, the ultimate test of their preparations. Lai took a deep breath. Initiate Operation Sunburst. Across the globe, in secure facilities built for this very purpose, teams of scientists and engineers sprang into action. They had trained for this moment, hoping it would never come. In orbit, the alien flagship's weapon port began to glow with ominous energy. Admiral Zaxar allowed himself a smile. Soon, this troublesome planet would be reduced to cosmic dust. But just as the weapon reached full charge, something unexpected happened. The Earth itself began to glow. From every continent, beams of golden light shot into the sky. They converged in orbit, forming a shimmering shield around the planet. In the command bunker, Dr. Rodriguez whooped with joy. It worked. The Sunburst shield is online. The alien flagship fired its world-breaker weapon. A lance of pure destruction streaked towards Earth, only to splash harmlessly against the golden shield. Admiral Zaxar stared in disbelief. No, this cannot be. On Earth, cheers erupted in the command center, but General Lai remained focused. The shield won't hold forever, he said. We need to end this now. He turned to his team, his eyes blazing with determination. It's time for our counterattack. Let's show these aliens why you should never, ever threaten Earth. As the order went out, humanity prepared to take the fight to the stars. The battle for Earth had been won, but the war was far from over. The golden shield surrounding Earth pulsed with energy, holding firm against the alien onslaught. But inside the UN command bunker, General Chongli knew they were running out of time. The Sunburst shield won't last forever, he said, his voice calm but urgent. We need to take the fight to them. Now. Dr. Emily Rodriguez nodded, her fingers flying over a control panel. Operation Starlip is ready, sir. We're just waiting for your command. Lai took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth, the culmination of months of secret preparation. He looked around at the determined faces of his team, then gave a sharp nod. Do it. Across the globe, hidden launch pads revealed themselves. In the Sahara Desert, the Amazon rainforest, and the frozen tundra of Siberia, massive rockets ignited. But these weren't ordinary spacecraft. They were Earth's secret weapons, the Starlink fleet. As the rockets soared into the sky, they began to change. Panels shifted, wings unfolded, and soon they resembled massive metallic birds of prey. Each one was packed with the best technology humanity had to offer, a perfect blend of offense and defense. In orbit, Admiral Zaxar watched in disbelief as the Earth forces suddenly multiplied. What trickery is this? He snarled. Where did these ships come from? His second-in-command, looking decidedly nervous, replied, Sir, we're detecting energy signatures unlike anything we've seen before. These ships, they're more advanced than our own. On Earth, in the cockpit of the lead Starlink ship, Colonel Maria Esperanza grinned. She had been chosen to lead this mission, and she was ready. This is Starlip Alpha to all units, she said into her comm. Remember your training. We're not just fighting for Earth now. We're fighting for the future of our species. Let's show these aliens what humans can do. With that, the Starlip fleet engaged. They moved with impossible agility, dancing between the alien ships. Where the aliens fired energy beams, the Earth ships responded with gravitational pulses that sent their foes spinning out of control. In the command bunker, cheers erupted as they watched the battle unfold. It's working, Dr. Sarah Chen exclaimed. The aliens don't know how to counter our tech. But General Lai remained focused. Don't celebrate yet, he warned. We need to take out their flagship. Colonel Esperanza, do you copy? Loud and clear, General. Maria's voice crackled over the comm. We're on it. In space, the Starlink fleet formed up, creating a spearhead formation with Maria's ship at the tip. They charged towards the massive alien flagship, dodging and weaving through enemy fire. Admiral Zaxar watched their approach with growing panic. Stop them, he screamed at his crew. Use the World Breaker. The flagship's main weapon began to power up again, its muzzle glowing with ominous energy. But Maria had anticipated this. "Now," she shouted. At her command, the Starloop ships released a cloud of tiny drones. These swarmed towards the alien flagship, slipping through its energy shields. Once inside, they attached themselves to the ship's hull and began to glow. "What are they doing?" Zaxar demanded, as alarms began to blare throughout his ship. On Earth, Dr. Rodriguez explained with a proud smile. "Those are our nullifier drones. They're creating localized gravitational fields that are disrupting the alien ship's systems from the inside out." True to her words, the alien flagship began to drift, its lights flickering. The world-breaker weapon powered down, no longer a threat. Seeing their flagship disabled, the remaining alien ships began to retreat. Some tried to jump to faster-than-light travel, only to find themselves held in place by Earth's gravitational fields. In the command bunker, a stunned silence fell. Then, slowly, realization dawned. We did it," Sarah whispered. "We won." The room erupted in cheers and tears of joy. People hugged each other, laughing and crying at the same time. But General Lee's voice cut through the celebration. "Not yet," he said firmly. "Colonel Esperanza, bring me that alien admiral. It's time we had a chat about the future of Earth in this galaxy." As Maria acknowledged the order, Lai turned to his team. "This isn't just a victory," he said. "It's a new beginning. Today, we've proven that humanity is ready for the stars. And now, we're going to claim our place in the galaxy." Around the world, as news of the victory spread, people emerged from their shelters. They looked up at the sky, no longer with fear, but with a sense of pride and wonder. The stars, once so distant and mysterious, now seemed within reach. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. The age of Earth was over. The age of humanity had begun. The UN command bunker was silent as Admiral Zaxar was led in, flanked by two stern-faced human guards. The once proud alien looked defeated, his blue skin pale and his large black eyes downcast. General Xiang Lai stood to greet him, his face a mask of calm authority. "Admiral Zaxar," Lai said, his voice steady, "welcome to Earth. I trust you're ready to discuss the terms of your surrender." Zaxar's eyes narrowed. "You've won a battle, humans, but the Empire spans thousands of worlds. You cannot hope to stand against our full might." A small smile played on Lai's lips. "Perhaps, but we've proven we're not the easy target you thought we were. And news of your defeat is already spreading through your fleet. How long do you think your empire will last when word gets out that a primitive world brought you to your knees?" The alien admiral's shoulders slumped. For the first time, he looked truly defeated. "What are your terms?" Dr. Sarah Chen stepped forward, tablet in hand. "First, the immediate withdrawal of all Imperial forces from the Sol system. Second, recognition of Earth's sovereignty and our right to expand to other uninhabited worlds in our sector of the galaxy." Zaxar's eyes widened. "You wish to join the galactic community, but you're not as primitive as you thought," Dr. Emily Rodriguez interjected. She tapped a button, and a holographic display sprang to life, showing the schematics of the Starloop ships. "Our technology may have developed differently from yours, but we're quick learners." The alien studied the display, his expression a mix of shock and grudging respect. "How did you advance so quickly?" Lai's expression hardened. "You gave us no choice. Your threat united our world in a way nothing else could have. We put aside our differences and worked together, all for the sake of survival. And in doing so, we discovered we're capable of much more than we ever imagined." Zaxar nodded slowly. I understand. But the Empire will not accept this easily. There will be those who will want to launch a full-scale invasion to avenge this defeat. Then perhaps it's time for a change in the Empire, a new voice said. Everyone turned to see Colonel Maria Esperanza entering the room, still in her flight suit. "We've been monitoring your fleet's communications. Many of your captains are impressed by our tactics and technology. Some are even questioning the Empire's policy of conquering lesser races. Lai nodded, which brings us to our third condition. We want to open diplomatic relations, not just with the Empire, but with all spacefaring civilizations. It's time for a new galactic order, one based on cooperation rather than conquest. Zaxar looked around the room, seeing the determined faces of the humans. He had come to conquer a primitive world, only to find a young but powerful civilization ready to take its place on the galactic stage. With a deep sigh, he nodded. I will convey your terms to the Imperial Council. But be warned, the road ahead will not be easy. We're counting on it, Lai replied with a grin. Humanity has never shied away from a challenge. As the negotiations continued, news of Earth's victory spread across the planet. In cities around the world, people poured into the streets, celebrating not just their survival, but the dawn of a new era. In New York, the giant screens in Times Square showed the first images of the captured alien ships. In Moscow's Red Square, people danced beneath the stars, no longer afraid of what might come from them. And in Rio de Janeiro, crowds gathered at the foot of Christ the Redeemer, the statue's outstretched arms, seeming to welcome humanity's new future among the stars. But it wasn't just celebration. In laboratories and universities, scientists pored over the alien technology, eager to learn and adapt. In government offices, diplomats prepared for Earth's debut on the galactic stage. And in homes around the world, children looked up at the night sky with new wonder, dreaming of the adventures that awaited them. As dawn broke over the UN headquarters in New York, General Lai stood at the window, watching the sunrise. Dr. Chen joined him, a cup of coffee in her hand. It's really happening, isn't it? She said softly. We're not alone anymore. We're part of something bigger. Lai nodded, his eyes on the horizon. We are, and we have a lot of work ahead of us. But I think we're ready for it. Sarah smiled. You know, when I first detected that alien signal, I was terrified. I thought it might be the end of humanity. But now it's just the beginning. Lai finished. He turned to face the room, where his team was already hard at work. All right, people. We've defended Earth. Now let's go make our mark on the galaxy. As the sun rose higher, bathing the Earth in golden light, humanity looked to the future with hope and determination. The stars were no longer out of reach. They were humanity's new frontier, full of challenges and opportunities, and Earth was ready to meet them head-on. 5 years had passed since the day Earth repelled the Galactic Empire's invasion. The planet had changed in ways few could have imagined before the alien threat arrived. On a crisp autumn morning, Dr. Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, Earth's first large-scale orbital habitat. Below her, the blue marble of Earth sparkled, while above, the stars beckoned. She smiled as she remembered how terrified she had been when she first detected the alien signal. Now those same aliens were her colleagues, and in some cases, friends. A gentle chime announced the arrival of the maglev pod. The doors slid open, revealing General Qiang Lai, now Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council. Beautiful view, isn't it? Lai said, joining Sarah at the window. Sarah nodded. I never get tired of it. How was the council meeting? Lai's face broke into a wide grin. Better than we could have hoped. The resolution passed. Starting next month, Earth will be a full member of the galactic community, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. Sarah's eyes widened. That's wonderful news, but I thought some of the older Empire factions were still opposing our membership. Lai chuckled. They were. But then Admiral Zaxar, of all people, spoke in our favor. He told the council that any civilization that could advance so quickly and defeat an imperial fleet deserved a seat at the table. As they talked, a sleek ship glided past the station's windows. Its design was a blend of human and alien technology, a visual representation of how far Earth had come in just 5 years. There goes the Magellan, Sarah said, watching the ship with pride. First human-built vessel capable of intergalactic travel. Who would have thought we'd come so far so fast? Lai nodded, his expression thoughtful. We've made great strides, but we've had help. Our alliance with the Proxima Centauri colonists has been invaluable. The Proxima Centauri colonists had been a surprise discovery in the wake of the invasion. A lost human colony. Established centuries ago by unknown means, they had developed their own unique technology. Their reunion with Earth had accelerated humanity's progress exponentially. As if on cue, a holographic display flickered to life, showing a smiling woman with slightly elongated features, a Proximan. Ambassador Lai, Dr. Chen, she said, the Genesis project is ready for your inspection. Lai and Sarah shared an excited look. The Genesis project was humanity's most ambitious undertaking yet, the terraforming of Mars. We'll be right there, Dr. Esteban, Lai replied. As they made their way to the shuttle bay, they passed through corridors bustling with activity. Humans worked alongside various alien species, their differences forgotten in the pursuit of common goals. The invasion had not only united Earth, but had given humanity a chance to prove its worth to the galaxy. The shuttle ride to Mars was brief, thanks to the new gravity drive technology. As they approached the red planet, Sarah gasped. Where once there had been only rusty desert, now vast seas glittered under the alien sun. White clouds scudded across a blue sky, and in protected valleys, the first patches of green were visible. It's incredible, Sarah whispered. Lai nodded, his eyes misting slightly. A new world for humanity. But not our last, I think. As they toured the fledgling Martian colonies, Sarah marveled at how far they had come. Schools where human and alien children learned together. Laboratories where scientists from a dozen worlds worked to unlock the secrets of the universe. Spaceports where ships from across the galaxy arrived daily, bringing new ideas, new technologies, and new opportunities. That evening, as the Earth rose over the Martian horizon, a celebration was held. It wasn't just for the success of the Genesis project or Earth's acceptance into the Galactic Council. It was a celebration of humanity itself, of its resilience, its creativity, and its unwavering spirit. General Lai raised a glass, looking out over the assembled crowd of humans and aliens. 5 years ago, he said, his voice carrying across the hushed gathering, we faced our greatest challenge. We were alone, outgunned and terrified. But we didn't give up. We fought, we innovated, and we surprised everyone, including ourselves. He paused, his gaze sweeping the room. Today, we stand as equals among the stars. We've made friends, forged alliances, and shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of. And this is just the beginning. As cheers erupted, Sarah felt a swell of pride and excitement. The stars, once so distant, were now within reach. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, and the future was bright with promise. The invasion that had threatened to end humanity had instead launched it into a new era of exploration, discovery, and cosmic fellowship. As the celebration continued under the Martian sky, one thing was clear: humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning.